welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Play Out One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
I'm more wore out than a $2 hooker at a $1 brothel.
And it was a good week for Wrestling With, as we interviewed Ramsey, Thomas Ramsey on Tuesday and Shamika on Wednesday. Two incredible, unique interviews, to say the least. I definitely cannot recommend those interviews enough. Definitely go in the archives and check them out. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Ken Pyro on the show. Our first interview from the country of Hungary. And you'll be starving for this interview. We talk about wrestling in Hungary, some of his rivalries, his Gemini tattoo, managing Dan the Beast Severn in one of his matches in Japan, and even visiting Chernobyl in Russia. And then on Wednesday, we have Adrian Gomez, the founder, owner of Middle Kingdom Wrestling. So if you were a fan of Uncle Money, Big Sam, Silver interviews, Zombie Dragon as well. Well, he's the owner of the company they work for. So we talk about all of those guys. We talk about where Middle Kingdom is, where it's going. We talk about some of the things he's dealt with as a promoter, in maintaining, not maintaining, but trying to withhold his inner fandom of pro wrestling while being a promoter. That one match that involved bugs and a hell of a lot more. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now.
I think it was already midnight, so pretty late, and someone was knocking on the door, and it was the police. And they said that the owner of the house, who was using it for booking or Airbnb, whatever, was actually a criminal, and the police were looking for him.
Oh, wow.
And he actually fled the country. So we had to leave the hotel and we had to sleep outside.
Zombie Dragon, I can't quite remember the spot, but I think he slammed somebody, powerbombed somebody, I can't remember. And yes, it turned into a very gross and sticky and green mess in the middle of our canvas. Now, I'll tell you one thing. We did throw away the canvas. Because after I'm like, everybody was like, I'm not wrestling that ever again. I'm like, okay, well, I'll make a new one. So that was the story of the Silkworms.
Alright. And then on the 19th, we have Kiki Van Gogh. On the 20th, we have Haggis. 25th, which is a Monday, Ali Reza. 26th, Laurentis. On 27th, Pete Phoenix. And on the 3rd, December 3rd, I should say, Orza Menagerie Tinker. So, the rest of November and a little bit of December already booked. So yeah, I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Kaliko?
We're never done putting ourselves over. Can't stop, won't stop. No Diddy.
Well, we are wrestling with the news. And it was a great day for wrestling and America, as WWE Hall of Famer. There is now a WWE Hall of Famer back in the White House. So that's a W for pro wrestling fans for sure.
I don't like when politics gets stuck flips into wrestling, because now Batista and Taker got a whole beef going down, and I'm like, oh shit.
You're not wrong about that.
And it's like, well, why can't we? Because wrestling used to be the one spot it don't matter. In politics, we need to worry about people who takes baths versus people who don't take baths before we get to.
Well, I mean, us as pro wrestling fans have to deal with that as well. If you've ever heard our access conversations.
Mm.
So,
I mean,
like but that's not where the real story is, though. The real story here is, in honor of the election this past Tuesday, AEW put the rest of their 2024 tickets for their events for 40% off. While on the flip hand of that side of that, WWE put an extra 40% on all of their tickets.
really?
No, that last part was a joke.
Yeah.
But no, AEW did put their tickets for 40% off on Tuesday. I feel like that's a bad sign for them, right? It has to be.
Nah, because WWE does it too when they have like those last minute tickets to get sold.
I mean, WWE doesn't really have to worry about that now. They're selling now left and right at $450 a pop. So, AEW, they're lucky if they get maybe 8,000 in a 14,000 seat arena.
I mean, yeah, true. I mean, but the Herd Syndicate's back.
And that'll put asses in seats.
That'll put asses in seats. Flavor of the week. I love Lashley. Don't hurt me, sir. But
I'm not the one
we're
hurting
just,
you, man. It's totally that's
we're
be hurting you.
we're just following the trend, sir.
Well, speaking of the trend, no more combat wombats. They are now the Death Riders.
Isn't that the name of Moxley's finisher?
Yeah, and I mean he's called the Death Rider as well, but now they're the Death Riders, plural.
I guess Rough Riders was taken.
Yeah, I would say so.
Arf, DMX.
The Combat Wombats was a lot better than the Death Riders. Death Riders sounds like a indie garage band, if I'm being honest.
The Blackpool Combat. I mean, it sounds something like Charlie Dempsey was doing.
What does Patrick Dempsey have to do with this?
I mean, it's dad. Regal was part of it.
I mean, isn't Patrick Dempsey dealing with the girl with the one pat legs? Or am I wrong on that?
I said, is it Charles Dempsey? What the hell is? Am I missing the wrong person? We might be mixing our Dempseys.
Well, I'm talking about McSteamy. Who are you talking about?
William Regal's son?
You're not talking about Hornswoggle, right?
Oh, heavens no.
That was actually Finley. I think it still hits. So yeah, we got no more Blackpool, no more BBC on AEW.
well, you don't want no BBCs. I mean, they got 3 BBCs in there.
And yet they can't sell a ticket.
Oh, Lord.
AEW tickets 40% on sale now.
I mean, it's not new.
Speaking of selling tickets, Ricky Starks, he has, he made he will be making an appearance pro wrestling, later this month for an independent. He hasn't wrestled since February, I believe it was, stated. And he will be wrestling, friend of the show, Cody Lane, Coco. Congratulations on Cody for landing that match. I know that him and Ricky had some type of relationship before he went to AEW. But what say you, Kaliko? Ricky Starks, taking independent bookings.
I mean, I thought they always took in. That's nothing new.
But, I mean, he's not working WWE. I mean, he's not working AEW, I should say.
But, I mean, all AEW talent takes independent. I mean, not all, but most. The ones that are not, like, with the 8-figure deals that are former WWE superstars are taking independent booking.
I mean, it's been like, what, 10 months since he's wrestled in AEW?
Well, that's just him getting his sea legs bound.
I feel like it's more than that. I mean, they haven't... When you're out of sight, out of mind in Tony's toy chest, he's not using you. And Ricky was a victim of that. I mean, look at Miro as well.
I mean, Miro was the flavor of the week.
I mean, at least Miro got a run with a title. What did Ricky do?
Didn't he get the FTW title at some point?
Oh, gee, a title that's not even recognized by AEW.
You got the Jericho feud? No.
Who hasn't had the Jericho feud?
Good point. Aleister Black has not had.
Scooter had a rivalry with Jericho at one point.
Oh gosh. I thought that was Jericho having an issue with calendars or employee handbooks. There you go.
I feel like Jericho's had again, rivalry with everybody.
I mean, good for him. I just think, to me, it sounds like to me it's just more about getting his bearings about him, his sea legs back, getting those sea biscuits back, buttermilk biscuits.
I think it's a good step in the direction for Ricky to finally get to the WWE. Well, we kind of already know he belongs, so...
You really think he's gonna just stop?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
Wouldn't he be there by now?
Contracts, bro. They're a hell of a thing.
Oh yeah, frozen time. Which is weird, because they don't... I mean, he let some people go and then didn't let others go, which is weird.
And, another rivalry AEW has is with, NXT. They went head-to-head on Wednesday, the first time in a while again. And, obviously, the election was Tuesday. NXT moved to Wednesday for the night. 2300 arena. Great event for sure. Um, NXT did a 319 or 619 if you wheel over AEW's 523. So pretty good margin. They beat AEW. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's
continue.
And for those who say, well, the question is, are AEW fans going to give you the argument that demographic ratings don't matter anymore?
I mean, that's what Dave Meltzer presents when he does these. He does those when he releases the ratings. Oh well, NXT did well for that time that they were in that slot, but for AEW, well, obviously the gas station opened up across the street, so that definitely caused a loss of viewership. But they did really well. They did very well. The thing is, AEW was beating NXT when NXT was probably at its strongest, and AEW was at its weakest. NXT is kind of in the middle at this point, and AEW has their legs underneath them, and they're still not drawing those people. It's been declining rather than growing in the last 5 years.
But I already told you why. Everyone knows why. They're not expanding. They don't want to expand. I think they're just happy being the alternative.
I don't think so. In order to just be the alternative, you still have to offer the people, the fans that are watching it, something to hold on to. And it's been slowly getting worse and worse as they go.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, to me, I think there's a group there that's just going to be there regardless. So why would they have to impress the people that's going to be there regardless? It's like season ticket holders. I've already got you. Why in the hell would I go out? Why would they go out of their way?
But I mean, even those people with the season tickets, they didn't hold on to them. They were at a good margin where they were holding on to the people, at the 8-point demographic. Maybe 9 if they had something that people really wanted to see. And it slowly declined in maybe the last 2 years, I would say.
I mean, it only declined because they're not giving anything. Well, to some, they think their stories are lacking, which they are. But some people like it just.
John Moxley.
I mean, some people like it just the way it is, though. And that's not I mean, can't knock them cats. They love it, they love it. I don't think that's how you would want to grow a business, but hey. But they have at least they have a ceiling.
And that ceiling is slowly coming down on them.
I think so.
Yeah, I do.
But it ain't coming down. They just signed a nice ass deal, so they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I think that the people at TNT must have been high when they ran that, when they signed that contract.
I told you it was leverage, and you keep looking at it right crazy. The most popular show on TV ain't gonna be there no more. They had to put something there.
I think Tony Khan had some convincing powder in his pockets during that negotiation.
Oh no! Everything that happened in coinciding with that decision. When Warner Brothers decided, yeah, we ain't dealing with that shit. That's when, hey, you never get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate.
And maybe these people didn't negotiate very well. It was announced the Elimination Chamber will be in Toronto. I believe we previously reported that it was supposed to be in the UK, in England. What are your thoughts on it getting switched from an international paid preview about PLE to a North American PLE?
That ain't nothing new.
Huh?
That ain't nothing new. It always, I mean, it didn't make sense with the tour anyway.
I feel like Canada's gotten a lot more PLEs than they.
Canada's popping. Drizzy Drake is popping.
From what I hear, Drake's in hot water, so.
I mean, Drake's big as shit for a minute, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Then I felt obviously something would have happened that they wasn't able to do it in England. I can't imagine they won't be doing something in England sooner rather than later. I mean, they did just announce that they're doing a whole string of Raws and SmackDowns in Europe leading up to WrestleMania 41.
And that's their what's the word? Get back. Because think about it. I mean, that ain't the first time. Didn't they have a show in Canada during the WrestleMania 40 tour?
I mean, Canada's no. I mean, they're doing a whole European tour before WrestleMania. Usually, they do a European tour after WrestleMania.
I mean, because I think. Oh well, we'll see. So that tells me Money in the Bank is going to be somewhere else. It's going to be. It was in England last time. They might get it again.
You might not be wrong about that. It is going to be interesting to have Raw and SmackDown have that rapid European crowd right before WrestleMania. But I do wonder how rapid it's going to be, considering that these are going to be primarily basic Raws and SmackDowns leading up to Mania. You know,
Depends on
a BSO PLE.
Depends on what they're trying to build to.
Well, obviously, Cena's last match, Cody and whoever he's wrestling, Gunther and whoever he's wrestling.
And the one everybody's hoping Roman rocks, so.
I was still leaning towards Cody Rock, but, who knows at this point.
Cody Rock. I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, it's 2 nights, so it ain't like it. Could be a Cody Rock, Roman Rock.
Cody Rock, Roman Rock?
Mm-hmm. Rock getting double duty so he could get double the pay.
I highly doubt he's going to work 2 nights in a row.
If he's putting himself over, you damn right he is.
You might be right about that.
No, don't put it past him, sir.
Somebody not putting himself over, but a lot of other people are. for obvious reasons. Dutch Mantel, having some health issues right now. We do hope that he kicks out at 2, whatever might be going on around him. But there is a GoFundMe going around for him. So if you do want to donate to Dutch, we would recommend that as well. Anything you want to add, Kaliko?
I mean, Dutch Mantel was, he's one of, I would say, the unsung guys, because he was one of the USWA guys that got a lot of talent through. Everybody just see him as Zeb Coulter, but Dirty Dutch Mantel, man, he was the man. He was one of the big pioneers in the Memphis wrestling scene.
And obviously, he was one of the guys that discovered The Undertaker, so there's that as well. Again, hopefully he kicks out at 2, and we could keep Dutch around for a while. Somebody that definitely kicked out at 2 is Kenny Omega. Made a return at Power Struggle. Cut a promo in front of the live crowd, went backstage, and got into a physical altercation with Gabriel Kidd. Setting up a potential Gabe Kidd match. Did you see what Kenny Omega said, or was you aware of what was going on? And if you are, what was your thoughts on it?
I'm just glad he looked healthy.
He did.
Hey, that's the biggest key. I mean, I saw when he came back, so I'm just glad the man's healthy. Because we thought we would have lost his ass to diverticulitis.
Right.
So just that alone tells me, like, good shape in New Japan. I mean, he went back to his roots. So it means he's going to be a face returning to AEW against the Bucks, which is going to be kind of crazy because the Bucks fired him and then they were heels and then they became, then they're losing, and the story is that the Bucks are going to save AEW from the Death Riders. So it's all confusing.
Yeah. But then again, we have Adam Cole betraying MJF, but now MJF's the bad guy and Adam Cole's the good guy, and yeah, these are AEW rivalries right now. But I mean, low-key, it kind of felt really nice to see Kenny Omega in a New Japan ring, if I'm being honest. It felt so right. You know, it felt like that's where he belonged. Yeah, so it kind of, when Kenny Omega left Japan for, Kenny Omega left New Japan for AEW in 2019, low-key, he kind of stopped being as special as he used to be. You know what I mean?
Because he didn't wrestle that much. Not AEW, but New Japan gave him the aura of, because they always did the tag matches.
Right.
But he wrestled without having to wrestle, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Which I give New Japan props to that, because they make it, that's how they built their feuds.
But, I mean, when Kenny Omega came to America, they made it an event. It was, well, you better buy your ticket because Kenny Omega doesn't come here that often. And then it kind of low-key became not that, because obviously he was stateside, so, oh, well, he's a part of AEW, I'll catch him the next time he comes around.
Or he's with TNA and I'm going to catch him. Or he's wrestling AAA. I'll catch. Yeah, his schedule got. This is which is crazy because you would think your schedule would get lighter
Right.
as you as your ass stays.
Right. You would.
My man's schedule got heavier.
And I mean, he was. I don't want to say he's in the E for the twilight of his career, but you know, he is getting up there in age where, you know, things are supposed to be lighter, not necessarily harder.
But keep in mind he was starting a company from the ground, so yeah.
Even more so to, you know, even more so to, you know,
Go lighter.
go
But
lighter.
I mean, if he wasn't gonna become champion, I think his schedule lighter. But when you're the champion, the schedule gets heavier. As it should. You're the guy.
Okay, tell that to Roman Reigns.
Roman's different, goddammit.
Well, speaking of different, at that same show, I believe it was at that same show, Sonata turned on just 5 guys to become a part of Bullet Club. That's where New Japan is right now. Sonata is now Bullet Club. I'm low-key surprised he didn't join House of Torture and become Evil's tag team partner again. You know, kind of.
No. Oh, hell. What, 2 former New Japan champions? Granted, he became stale after he became champion.
I feel like he became still after he lost the championship because he never did anything to
solidify the championship reign.
I would say solidify, but he didn't do anything to make himself be important after it to say, well, I'm still, you know, a top guy.
I mean, that's on New Japan, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they had him lose and then get help the man who beat him, which, okay. Cool. So it was rather redundant, if you will.
Right. I just feel like, you know, basically everybody's been Bullet Club at this point, and it really doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything anymore. You know what I mean?
It almost, I mean, 2/3 of LIJ is Bullet Club. Tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, definitely right.
So yeah.
And on Raw this upcoming Monday is New Day. The show is dedicated to the New Day, which I feel like low-key is an omen that something's going to happen with the New Day.
I mean, that just screams New Day again breaking up, right?
Right.
The question is, who's gonna break up with who?
What are the odds that Big E comes back and flattens them both?
Me dunking a basketball?
I mean, is that good odds or bad odds or?
Bad odds, buddy. I'm 5'7". Bad odds, bruh.
Alright, Big E comes back, but Xavier Woods laid them both out.
Me shooting an NBA three-pointer. Low odds, but higher than me dunking. Because Big E's not cleared yet, is he?
I mean, he's closer to getting cleared now than he was a year ago, I'd say.
Yeah, but he ain't close enough to getting bumps, getting his ass dumped on his face yet. I mean, at least I don't think so.
If Xavier Woods does leave, does he join the Last Testament?
No, I mean, personally, this just shows the Last Testament always has been good about showing people who they really are, or making them the opposite of who they are. I mean, I guess the only person that doesn't happen to is Miz, because Miz was a bad guy, became a good guy, went right back to bad guy.
Well, I mean,
Turned on our truth, and then got kidnapped for his troubles. So there you have it.
and I believe this is our last bit of news. Goldberg announced his final match in 2025. I think we could all sing Hallelujah at this point, no?
Goldberg was he's okay, man. I mean, people don't like it. That shit was popping in the 90s. People just don't like that he's doing that shit now. It's like that one band that does the same song in all their albums. Like, motherfucker, show some depth. That's what it is, but...
Any other?
But if...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to figure out. Who is it going to be? Who could it be?
Braun Breaker? Gunther?
Oh, God, no. No, Jesus, no. Gunther?
Cena?
Boy, stop.
Well, I mean, who would you pick?
Himself.
Okay, well, I don't think any near close or cloning, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
I mean, Rock?
I mean, if they get past the allegations, but I feel like we've already kind of went down that road, didn't we?
We did, but it was a good road.
I mean,
Both of them on some loser leaves town shit.
I mean, it was good for the time that it was, but I think, leave sleeping dogs lie. I mean, if that was his last one with him and Brock, that would have been perfect. Had the squash match at Survivor Series, win the title, lose it to Brock at Mania, go off into the sunset. But they kept bringing him back. Because Goldberg.
I mean, he's a name, dude. He's a name. He's a famous name. He's a Georgia Bulldog, goddammit. Y'all give him hell, but I give him hell, but he's a Georgia Bulldog and a Falcon, sir.
And whenever his last match is, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it's going to be in Georgia. I don't think it's going to be like a WrestleMania or a PL. I mean, obviously it would have to be a PLE in Georgia, but next time they're in Georgia, that's gonna be his last match, I would say.
Well, that shit shipped and sailed, sir, because you're just in Georgia.
I mean,
That shit might be.
it's next year. They could do another PLE in Georgia next year. It's not a crime. I mean, they've done like 15 in Canada.
Yeah, that's my point, which means Georgia ain't getting one for another. Shit, San Diego got us, what, a show January 2024? Took them a damn near whole year just to come double back.
Yeah. I mean, the last time they were there was January 1st, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, it ain't like it's a given.
I mean, if they want his last match to be special, I think that's the crowd they want.
I don't think the Georgia crowd is the same Georgia crowd that you're thinking of, sir.
Well, I mean, the Georgia crowd that we saw at that Blood was pretty welcoming to Goldberg.
Yeah, that was because Goldberg was in the fucking stands.
I'm sure whatever happens, we'll be covering it. I believe that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Crown Jewel. It took place last Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at the Ahmad Majigajaga Mohammed Abdubidu Arena. And this was the first PLE since SummerSlam to have more than 5 matches. Well, 6 matches, so 1 more they added. What did you think of the show as a whole?
The show itself was so. And the only reason I say that because it was basically glorified WrestleMania for Saudi Arabia.
And more or less. I feel like the concepts were there. The matches were pretty decent. But a lot of the matches, the endings just kind of fell flat rather than get a big pop. if that makes sense.
I mean, the biggest pop in that whole thing was Jay Uso popping out. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, but there, there were some big moments that kind of laid flat, in my opinion. And technically, there was 7 matches on this card, but we'll get there when we get there. Um, well, let's get into the first match. We have the Bloodline, Solo Coca-Cola, Jacob Fuck You, and the NFT Tamatonga with the infamous Sangaloa. They defeated the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, with Jey Uso and Jimmy Janetti in 19 minutes.
How dare you call him Jimmy Janetti, sir?
I call him Jimmy Janetti. Solo pinned Roman Reigns to get the W. Um, I felt like it was a good match, but I also felt like this match needed more time to bake, if that makes sense. Like, they needed more time to tell the story that they usually tell in these matches. And usually when, that pinfall gets counted, you know, it's like a big moment. And Solo pinning Roman, just in my opinion, it kind of laid flat. It was like, oh, he pinned him, rather than, oh, he pinned him. You know what I mean?
Well, because the pinning wasn't. The pinning was secondary to the story. Because the story of the match was basically the new Bloodline's a cohesive unit, and the old Bloodline still got trust issues.
Well, what was your thoughts on the match?
I mean, it was okay. It did what it needed. Like I said, it did what it needed to do. It involved people who we thought wasn't gonna be involved. So there's that. It's like, damn, Sammy. But I guess he's back in the fold.
Yeah, especially if you saw SmackDown yesterday.
So I mean, it kind of just builds up to what they're trying to achieve to get to War Games, which is the wrinkle.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to build it to. I mean, that was the purpose of that match, to determine the reason for War Games. Because now you got it's 4-on-4. I think War Games is usually 5-on-5.
It varies. It could be 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. Usually it's 4-on-4.
It's gonna be 4-on-4 this year.
Yep. Alright. How many stars you give this one?
Storytelling wise, 4. Because everything took place where it was supposed to take place. So yeah, 4.
I give it 3.5. The match was good, but the story was good, but the finish kind of laid flat for me. So that's why I left off the other half star.
Okay. Which means it's time for
the DEI Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Match.
How dare you? It's Guess That Rating.
Oh, yes. Correct. Alright, 3.
Nah.
3 and a quarter.
Nah.
3 and 7/5. Alright, what was it?
3.5. Y'all actually got her.
Okay, I was not expecting that. Okay. Alright, now to the Fatal 4-Way match. Bianca Belair and Jade Gargle defeated Damage Control, Corey Zane, Io Sky, Last Not a Legend, Jakara Jackson, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, in 10 minutes and 19 seconds. In all honesty, this match had no right to be as good as it actually was. All of these girls actually worked pretty hard. Everybody kind of got a little moment to shine. It kind of all worked out for me. Everything kind of hit for me. So, in that sense,
Really?
yeah, I actually enjoyed the match.
Oh, really? What?
Yep.
Who are you?
I'm James J.
Who the fuck are you? Because I've never seen you give props. I like that.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
God.
I give props when props is due.
You just called it the DEI.
Well, I mean, that's the reason it was on the card. I mean, who the fuck saw Last Legend and Jakara Jackson on a WWE PLE other than they needed them to fit the DEI standard?
Well, fucking Bianca Belair is a walking, if that's the case, DEI standard, sir.
Oh no, Bianca Bianca has definitely deserved her spot. She earned her spot there. But this was that guy asking Triple H, why isn't there any black people on these PLEs? This was Triple H saying, fuck you.
What about him saying chocolate titties?
That too. I mean, we all enjoy that. What was your thoughts on the match?
It was okay. Too short for a four-way,
How many stars?
personally. 2.5, because I felt like if you're gonna do a fatal four-way, it's got to be at least another 5 more minutes to show uncertainty, because we kind of knew who the fuck was gonna win.
Right. I don't think we're not going to know who's going to win for a very long time.
So I mean, that's what it didn't put the intrigue in it for me.
I give it 3. It's okay.
Oh. 3? Okay.
I say Dave Meltzer gave it 2 and a quarter.
Nope.
2.
Higher, sir.
2.5.
3 3/4.
Wow. Wait, was that more than the Roman Reigns match?
Yes.
Okay, well we know what Uncle Dave is smoking.
Crack is cheap.
Especially when Tony Khan is your distributor.
Oh God, no.
We have Seth freaking Rollins. He defeated Bronson Reed in 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Pretty good match. The match was on fire from the very beginning. Lots of gaga and excitement right off the bat. Um, it seems like Seth's pretty healthy as well. Um, if I had one gripe about the match, it would probably be that Bronson should have probably won this match. How do you expect to build a monster if you don't give him W's? What's it you could go?
I thought the crowd wanted him to win too. They were kind of hot for him. To be quite honest,
Bronson.
they were hot for action. Bronson, that is. But I mean, yeah, he probably should have won, mainly because the crowd was behind him. You got a crowd behind him. You got to give the people what they want, and they wanted Bronson to win. But Seth got the win, shows he's healthy. He kind of gets through Bronson so he can get to Punk. Because we know that's where it's going.
I mean, at some point, yeah.
Now, the question is, if it's true that Seth is going to be the heel, how is it going to get there?
I mean, it is the Triple H era, so we shall see with that. Alright, how many stars you give this one?
I have to give this 3.5. A good 3.5. I only deduction is because Bronson should have won. But
I would have gave it 4 if Bronson won, but 3.5 is a good place. Alright. Oh, and Dave Meltzer gave this 4?
4?
Yeah.
Like,
What?
do we cheer for Liv? Do we cheer for Nia? Do we cheer? You know?
Yeah.
So it was a literal like, huh? Then they started cheering for Liv.
They made their choice.
And then, yeah. So, yeah, it was just a cluster of that, and then all the interference is thrown in.
Yeah.
The Tiffy possible cash in, it was just all clusterfuckery. Just for Nia to lose, which, I mean, I don't get it. Nia's supposed to be this monster ass heel, and they keep losing to people like smaller than them.
I mean, you could just make the argument that all the interference caused her to lose the match, rather than Liv being a formidable opponent.
The clusterfuck of what the fuck?
Correct.
I call bullshit. But
Well, what do you call this match, star-wise?
it wasn't a good one. I'll give it 2 stars.
I give it 2.5. I don't think it was as bad as you may have said it is.
Okay.
Say, Dave Meltzer gave it 2.25.
Nope.
1.5.
1.5.
Alright. Then we have Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, which didn't even start. Not even on the bracket of the results, because the match never took place. It didn't stop them from beating the shit out of each other, but yeah, that definitely happened. What was your thoughts?
A clever way to protect both sides from taking an L.
I agree. And it continues the rivalry.
And it continues the rivalry. Yep, continues the story. They can kick the shit out of each other somehow.
I don't think we could give this a star rating because there wasn't an actual match, but probably one of the more exciting things that happened on the card, I'd say.
In the words of the great Bruce Pritchard, and then the bell did ring.
Well, the bell rang on this match, and that was LA Knight defeating Andrade El Idaho and Carmella Hayes to retain his United States Championship in 9 minutes and 59 seconds. It was a match on the card, I'd say. Carmelo's first PLE, great for him. It was a win for LA Knight, but I never felt like he was in danger of losing the belt, so there's that, I would say. But
well, like I said, give them time to cook so they can actually, because it's like with some of these matches, they're so short that it's like it takes the mystique out of it.
Yeah.
And you're just left sitting there thinking, okay, a couple more minutes, you could have had me.
So you think because there was 7 matches on the card, it actually took some quality out of the show?
Yeah, 5 is usually when they allow things to blend in, but then again, when you're trying to set things up for Survivor Series, they're trying to set certain things up for Survivor Series. And for some things they did with the even though Nia loses, it doesn't hurt her.
Right.
The bloodline thing just pushed it down. I think that's the only story that actually got that one, and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are the only two that got like progression in their storylines, because everything else seemed to feel like a one-off or a blow-off.
Because it kind of was. I mean, they kind of relegated the Saudi Arabia show back to being its own contained event rather than, a part of what was actually going on around in WWE. Which
I told you it's WWE for Saudi, or it was Saudi Arabia WrestleMania.
Right.
Arabia Mania.
Mania. How many stars you give LA and Andrade and Mello?
A 3, because it told. I mean, the story was that LA Knight was able to take advantage of the fact that them two couldn't stand each other, and thus proving he's the fighting champion that he is.
If you will.
If you will. Yeah. But...
Yeah, I think 3 is a good number for this one, for sure. Alright, Dave gave it... I'm gonna say Dave is vibing with us tonight. He gave it a 3 as well.
Higher.
3.25.
Higher.
4?
3 3/4.
3 3/4. These fucking forts. Made of
The
forts.
quarters and the fourths.
Yeah. May the forts be with you. And I'll bring this.
I'd rather have this. I'd rather have this, sir.
I agree. That brings us to our last match. Cody Rhodes defeated Gunther to become the first ever men's crown jewel champion. For Cody versus Gunther, I thought this would have been a really good match. And it really wasn't, if I'm being honest. And I realized why they did the ending that they did for it. But it still kinda was flat in my opinion. It was like, oh, he did this move, rather than, oh, he did this move. Like, it just kinda came out of nowhere, rather than, I'm really cheering for him to get the W on this one. And it kind of felt like the crowd wasn't that low-key, wasn't that into it as well. They were doing the wave during this match as well. Maybe they were just, punch drunk at this point.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, that's another question. Is there alcohol with this?
That is a very good question.
I would think they would, but that's just me.
What did you think of the match?
Well, the match really, this match falls in the category of with Liv and Nia, that it was mainly just a one-off match more than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like this thing was going to be a rivalry. It's almost like they did the Survivor, with the two women's matches. Remember they used to do those Survivor Series where the champion popped the champion?
Yeah.
It felt like that for these two matches.
I feel like
And it seems like Raw got it seems like Raw got one, SmackDown got one.
I can definitely see that. I feel like they kind of wasted Gunther here. I know that he has losses, but it feels like, to beat Gunther is a bigger deal than what they made it as they presented it here.
I mean, they booked themselves in that corner.
Right. How many stars do you give this one?
I felt like they could have worked a lot better. 3.
I'm gonna be a little bit more judgmental. 2.5.
Damn, Gordon Ramsay.
It was fucking raw. Dave gave it 3.25.
Nah.
3 3/4.
Nope.
3.5.
4.25.
4.25. Oh,
4.25.
good for you, Dave.
It is off for the Brett Piper finish.
Alright. The show as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Well, I've always said this show was kind of like so-so. I mean, I started with it as so-so. It ends with so-so. It got some of the things that we knew that were going to get pushed along. I think the best thing to happen was the thing that didn't happen, which was the Randy Orton Kevin Owens no contest. Like, they didn't even get into where the bell rang.
I think that might have been 5 stars if it was an actual match.
Nah, because if they had a match, that means it would have been a no contest. I mean, if that was the case, they would have just fought themselves to no contest, and I thought I called that.
I think you might have. But then again, I don't listen to you that often.
Of course you don't. Unless I'm winning bracket tournaments, you know what I'm saying? Then you listen.
Well, obviously, I'm legally obligated to.
Ah.
Did you give it thumbs up, thumbs down? What was it?
In the middle, because it did some of the things it needed to do. The shit where it wasn't hidden, it was clusterfuckery.
I agree. Thumbs in the middle.
Gator don't play that shit.
Yep. Okay. That will conclude our coverage of the Crown Jewel in this episode as a whole. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Ken Pyro, this Wednesday as we interview Adrian Gomez, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Twitter, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko. Comptomania, Turkey Tussle, shout out.
Oh yeah. For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.